I'm Danny K. White. I'm the author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life. And today I'm going to tell you a little decluttering story about dance shoes. I could make this story about identity clutter. That would be a definite angle on this. But instead, I'm going to talk about my own struggles with frugality and how that can contribute to my clutter issues. And also just the reality that sometimes I keep things for a long time for what if situations, only to find out when that what if situation actually happens that it was never what I would have used anyway. And I end up having to buy another one anyway. And that's when I feel a lot of regret over having kept something for many, many years and moved it from house to house and thought about it way too many times only to find out that it was never even what I actually needed in the future. So let me tell you a little story. So years ago, I would do stuff on stages, right? I was never a dancer, but I was an actor who moved well. That was my category, right? So I could act like I could dance here and there, nothing too complicated, right? But I had character shoes for when I would do a musical or something like that. Well, that, felt like something that I want to do at some point again in the future. And what if an opportunity came along? But after I had kids, my feet grew, or while I was pregnant with my kids, my feet grew and they never went back. Sorry for the bad news to those of you who would like to have kids and haven't yet. Your feet grow, right? And so the shoes that I had as character shoes, pre-kids, I did get rid of because there was no way that I could ever wear those again. But then I was at a garage sale, and for very super cheap, I found these character shoes that basically fit my feet. And they're nice, right? And they're navy, which is unique. You usually see them in black or in tan, but navy, that's interesting, right? And so I grabbed them because they were like $1 or $2. And so I thought, you know what? Someday I might be so glad that I had these character shoes because I had every intention of one day needing character shoes again, right? So I kept them, moved them from place to place, had a place where I would look for them first. There was space for it. So good news, I am not here to say get rid of every single thing that you might not possibly for sure use. As long as I had space, it was fine for me to keep it. That's my container concept. But I now, because of the experience that I've just had, which I'm about to tell you about, can look at all my stuff and go, wait a minute, I need to be realistic about, is this actually something that is worthy of being in my house? Is it truly something that I might actually use in a situation? Because what happens so many times is I get something for super cheap that's almost right, that's basically what I think I'll want one day, and I compromise on it because it was cheaper. And then I keep it and manage it for a very long time. And then when it's time to actually use it, I realize, oh, I compromised on it. I thought, well, it's worth it being so cheap because it's almost what I want. And then I realized when I actually need it, that it doesn't work, and I would prefer to have the thing that will actually truly fit what I need at that time, okay? So here's the story. Navy character shoes, bought them years ago, $1 or $2. They're great. Didn't need them for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden I need them. My husband and I are doing a fundraiser here locally, and we are actually dancing on a stage, and I'm super excited about it. And so when our dance instructor said, do you have some dance shoes that you can wear? I was like, yeah, totally got them. And then I went and got it and I put it on, and yes, technically it fit my foot. But I pretty quickly realized before I had even done much dancing that I didn't want to dance in those, because even though they technically fit, they didn't feel good. And like I said, I'm not a real dancer anyway, so I did not need to be wearing shoes that were uncomfortable. And so I went and looked and I thought, okay, I guess I could order these online. In my mind, these are hard to find. You have to go to a specialty store. And I thought, I'm just gonna look them up online. Well, guess what they have now? They have them in wide sizes, which definitely fits me great. So I was able to get the black character shoes, which actually go with the costume that I need, where navy didn't anyway, and in an actual size that is very comfortable on my feet. But guess what else? Look, and they were easy to get. Like, they were delivered the day after I ordered them, in time for our rehearsal. So where in my mind, part of the value of this was that these are hard to obtain, they're hard to find, that's not true anymore in the last 15 years since I got these. Also, look at this. When I got these and I put them on, I went, wait a minute. They have done some inventing on these things, or improving or something. Look at that. See that right there? How there's that notch out of the back? Do you know what used to drive me bananas about my character shoes? It was this. They would dig into the back of my heels and they would hurt. And that problem has been solved. So in the last 15 years, these have become so much more accessible than they were when I thought I was getting this great deal for something that was not quite as good as what I wanted it to be, and also not really as usable because it's not even the right color. They've also improved on the actual design of it, which made it very much worth the money and the absolute minimal effort for me to get what I actually needed in the moment. But then that makes me feel the regret of having kept this. And I'm just gonna say, I experience keeping regret so much more often than I experience decluttering regret. I know that my big fear when I started decluttering was, oh, what am I gonna regret getting rid of? And I hear that from people all the time. Like, I'm so scared of getting rid of something and then needing it in the future. That almost never happens. But this, where I realize I have kept that thing for 15 years thinking it was a great thing and worth the room and worth the effort in my house, only to find out that it wasn't even what I thought it was or what I needed when I actually ended up needing it. That happens to me a lot. So I take this and I don't go, oh, poor me, right? Instead, I just say, okay, well, how can this change how I look at other things in my house? How does this help me look at things that are truly just being stored for what if, and help me assess that item and be realistic about, am I keeping this just because it was a great deal? Was it a great deal because it was almost what I needed? It doesn't deserve space in my home unless it is truly something that is going to actually be useful in the future for me, okay? So, no huge, like, how-to in this video, just an assessment of this is the reality of my stuff. And I have to face the reality. That's what a lot of decluttering is. And it's not always fun. But now I look at other stuff differently. So that's good, right? Okay. I hope that was helpful. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.